On January 6, 2004, workers began digging into the sand in the middle of the desert to build something so tall that no one would dare to compete with it. At that time, the tallest building in the world was Ape 101,
which was just over the height of 500 meters.
but Dubai wasn't interested in building something slightly taller. It wanted the building to be 62% taller. Until then, record-breaking buildings were usually 5 to 10% taller than the previous one, sometimes 15%, and once it was 19%. But Dubai just wanted to jump by 62%. Why? And another big question is that if humans can build 829 meters into the sky, why has no one ever beaten it in more than a decade? And to understand that, we need to go back in history.
When the Burj Dubai is complete, it will be the tallest structure that mankind has ever built on the face of the planet. Until someone builds an even bigger one.
This is the story of the tallest tower mankind has ever built. Half a mile high.
For 4,000 years, the tallest structure on Earth was the Great Pyramid of Giza, which was over 145 meters tall and was built as a tomb. This record was broken only after the 1300s, where a cathedral was built in England, which was over 160 meters tall. And for the next 500 years, this record was beaten by a series of churches. And then came Eiffel Tower in 1889. And here's where the things change. The first true skyscraper built for people to live and working appeared in Chicago in 1884, which was just around 55 meters tall, even smaller than the pyramid. Though it sounds small, it was revolutionary. And when the competition to build tall buildings began, it was limited to New York and Chicago. And these two cities were central to the most economic boom. Then came the New York Empire State Building, which remained the world's tallest building from 1931 to 1971. It was beaten in 1971 by another building in New York, which was the World Trade Center at 417 meters, just 9% taller than Empire State Building's 381 meters. And in 1998, the competition spread out of America and shifted to Asia, when Petronas Towers were built in Kuala Lumpur at a height of 452 meters. They held the status of the world's tallest building till 2004, after which it was beaten by Taipei 101. And then came Dubai. Originally, the Burj Khalifa was supposed to be around 550 meters, just enough to beat Taipei 101. But during planning, they realized they could go higher. Dubai before the 1990s was mostly a village for fishing and pearl diving. Oil had bought money, but the leaders wanted to diversify their economy and reduce dependence on oil. So, they made a bold decision. If the world wouldn't come to Dubai, Dubai would build something the world could not ignore. And it actually worked. The Burj Khalifa is so tall that if you watch the sunset from the ground, then take the elevator to the top, you can watch it again. It cost $1.5 billion to build this, with more than 12,000 workers, more than 100 distinct nationalities, and 22 million man-hours. The Burj Khalifa's foundation has 192 concrete and steel columns under it. They extend to 50 meters into the ground. The world's most powerful concrete pumps were built just to push concrete that high. And then, the real genius, which is the shape. From above, it looks like a Y. It comprises 3 wings and 1 central hexagonal core, a system which is called the buttressed core. This design fights wind by braking and redirecting it, because wind is the real enemy at that height. Without the right design, the building would sway dangerously. Often other skyscrapers leave empty floors so wind can pass through them. Burj Khalifa didn't need to do so, and that invention changed everything. But here's where it really gets interesting. After its completion in 2009, countries immediately announced taller projects. One was Saudi Arabia's Jeddah Tower, which planned to cross 1 kilometer. But why couldn't they build it? Because Engineering was only half the battle. Money is the real challenge. A building that tall would be a financial gamble, as the country is not just building apartments, it's building an entire economic ecosystem around it. Burj Khalifa worked because it became the centerpiece of downtown Dubai. Tourism had exploded, property prices skyrocketed in Dubai, and businesses flooded in. China recently banned buildings taller than 500 meters in many cities, calling them wasteful vanity projects, as energy consumption and maintenance would be insanely massive. And then comes a problem most people never think about: the human body. If you instantly travel from the ground to the top in an elevator, your body feels more dizzy and nauseous. Until and unless the building becomes a sealed and pressure controlled environment. But this comes with enormous costs. Even the engineer behind Burj Khalifa says that there's no guarantee that each building will be as successful as Burj Khalifa, that there will be such levels of economic boom around it. Investors will need to spend thousands of millions to fund such buildings. Funding such buildings would mean extremely high risks. How many people would want to fund it? Additionally, this will require the support of the local government. But many governments will not support these because in most countries, funds could be better utilized. So for now, and maybe for decades, Burj Khalifa stands alone, not just as the tallest building, but as a statement, a reminder of what happens when engineering, ambition, and economic strategy collide at the perfect moment. The question isn't whether we can build taller. We probably can. The real question is, do we have a reason strong enough to try again?